Hey YouTube, Mike the Alpha Hoarder here. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I would like to ponder exit strategies. Specifically, I want to consider whether whales can exit the market gracefully. And while I rant about that, I've got some cool stuff I want to check out and add to the collection. So I get this question a lot. I got it even back in my first videos. So I finally decided to address it. Now, don't read in too far. I'm not addressing it because I'm planning to exit. I have still never sold a card, and I have no plans to sell anything printed before, I don't know, 2000 or something. Hold on. This is a cool package. There's going to be a bunch of stuff in here. Different sorts of stuff these days. Okay, so getting right to it. There are only 3 exit strategies. People like to, talk in sort of vague terms, like this is some really complex thing. But the truth is, you've got 3 options. Oh my goodness. Whew. You can sell slowly over time with a lot of work. Or 2, you can sell very quickly, all at once, to a dealer or a collector at a huge discount. Or 3, you can keep your stuff forever. Honestly, that's pretty much it. Those 3 and combinations thereof. That is how you can exit. Let me just sort this out here. All right. So this is quite a mishmash of a package. It's the culmination of a lot of different orders. I was traveling, and then this is all from Joel Mick from Ancestral MTG. Awesome store. I've interviewed him on the channel. I've recommended his store before. He's not a sponsor or anything. He's just an awesome guy with cool stuff. But I was away, then he was away, and orders piled up, and so I've been waiting to unlock this for a little while. So I've mentioned in other videos just recently how I'm sort of branching out a little bit. Now that I'm really reaching the end of my alpha accumulation, I'm doing a little bit more of just pure collecting. And so that's giving me some time to explore sets that I haven't touched as much. So this, for instance, is a common set of Legends. I do have a bunch of Legends cards, but they are all just beat to crap. So I got a nice clean thing here I'll go through a bit later. A couple of Arabian Nights that I need. But these are the ones I'm most interested in for this video. So we'll take a look at these while I rant. So anyway, my overall question here is, can somebody, say, such as myself, someone in my position, can someone like me exit the market without making a mess of things if I wanted to? Because if the answer is no, then the hobby is headed for a crash with a wall, one of several walls, because people are eventually going to exit, by choice or not by choice. If Rudy gets hit by a truck tomorrow and his estate needs to unwind the position, or substitute in him for any major collector, there's some whose names you wouldn't even know. But what's going to happen when that position needs to unwind? Is there going to be a way to do it gracefully or not? All right, let's just pause here and check this out. So these are playtest cards, pre-alpha cards. As some of you will know, I've got a handful of these, but I'm really partial towards what became Sarah Angel and Demonic Tutor. These are my two favorite cards in the game. I have global sets. I have other versions. So this one is Gamma, this one is Epsilon. There were a handful of these prior to Alpha, but I don't have either of these, so this is just really cool. Really cool to add. Pumped about that. So anyway, the fact that we're seeing a lot of people exit the market just kind of has me thinking about this and reflecting on it. And so I've sort of been watching and observing and, discussing with other people. And yeah, I have a few comments. Let's take a look at this guy. Love this artwork. Love this card. This is a favorite of mine. A little bit of edge wear. And pretty poor centering, but not a bad copy. Clean surface. Beautiful. Okay, so let's take my lightning bolt position as an example. I pulled these out. You've all seen this before. I have like 30 something copies. This is a common, so there were 16,000 of these originally printed. Many fewer that are in good condition, but 16,000. And here I've got about 35 or 36 or whatever. So this particular card is always on the market. You can always find one of these listed somewhere. And I counted about 60 copies on eBay. Now, this was a couple of weeks ago. I jotted down the notes for this video a few weeks back, but then I didn't actually get around to recording it because life, work. But in any case, when I was jotting down the numbers, there were 60 copies of this available on eBay. And going back 2 months prior to that, there were 25 recent sales in those 2 months. So the supply is relatively liquid. Like I said, I'm not planning to sell, but suppose I had to, and I needed to unwind just even a portion of my position. It would have to be a very slow process, and I just can't emphasize how illiquid this stuff can be, especially in bulk. So based on the numbers at the time I collected the data, the market can move, say, 12, just call it 10 copies a month, to make it simple. Let's say I list 2 copies a month, and the market can move 10 copies. So just by adding 2, I am increasing the supply by 20%. That's going to affect the pricing. That's not insignificant. 1 copy, no problem. 5 copies, I'm going to need weeks or months. 30-something copies, well, you can extrapolate. So let's pretend I'm selling. And perhaps I, do what I said. Let's do, 1 auction a month and 1 bin a month. The bins rarely move. A lot of them have sort of 2021 price memory. So I'd have to price it low. Some of these I would grade, that can increase liquidity a bit, decreases fraud, sometimes can get premiums. And there's a few more consignment options. So there's reasons to grade. But, if you take my bolt position and say I don't even want to call it quits. Let's just say I want to reduce my exposure a bit. I want to keep 10, my master binder or whatever. So let's say I got 25 copies to sell. So if I do the 1 auction and 1 bin per month through Facebook and Discord and all that stuff, that's hardly flooding the market. They'll sell 10 to 20% below the going price at the time, probably, because that's how much I'm increasing what the market can absorb. Which means I need 18 months to get that position unwound. Now, that is just 1 card, and it's a relatively liquid card. It's a card that sells a lot. So can I do this with all of my cards at once? No, definitely not. There are major scaling issues to that approach. Chaos Orb. another absolute favorite. Love the artwork. I've mentioned this before, his style with the sort of brains and the texture and the sinew, I just love it. Let's see if this one was flipped onto any pavement. You know, not so bad. Decently centered. A little heavy on the left. Beautiful. Yeah, there's definitely scaling issues. So instead of the lightning bolts, what about, say, my circle of protection greens? This is some of them. Or my jumps. You know, that pile is 3 times as high as this one. These are way harder to move. These do not have the same liquidity. They are not demanded nearly as much. So I would have to sell these probably in lots, you know, maybe even as play sets for way cheaper if I needed to move them quickly. And so it's really quite a big risk that I've onboarded by having so many commons. If I ever have to liquidate this on a tight time frame, you know, of a few years. It's something I'm comfortable with, but, you know, if your goals are different than mine, don't do as I do. But, you know, this pile here, if I wanted to unload this or my jumps at any reasonable price without crashing the market, we're probably talking a time frame of 5 to 8 years, realistically speaking. And that's important to be aware of. So I talk about this generational handoff. That's sort of an open question about what lays ahead of us in the future of this hobby. But sort of just zooming out to the bigger issue there is that it's just impossible to time the market. There is just no way to know whether you're at a high, you know, is it a local high or an ultimate high or a low. Even if I'm right about this general handoff, and whichever way it goes, either we do get the handoff or we don't, it's not like we're going to know the day that happens or doesn't happen. And that's all sort of shorter term stuff. But if you're talking an 8-year timeline to unwind a position, or let's call it 5 years, there's just the market over a 5-year timeline is going to be just completely opaque. Let me just look at this guy quick. So this now pairs with the Sarah Angel that I shared earlier in the year. I now have the beta artist proof with the sketch, one for Sarah Angel and one for the tutor. Gotta be super careful because these corners are incredibly delicate. Oh man, look at the texture on that. That is awesome. Wow. Oh, that is beautiful. Whew. Once again, completing sets that I thought I'd already completed, but this was missing from my tutors. I'm going to have to sleeve that carefully. In fact, one moment. Okay, that's sorted out. I got one more really cool box I want to open here as I wrap up my thoughts. This guy had a rough ride. I hope he's okay inside. We'll see. Pull this open over here. So anyway, yeah, timing the market's impossible. And it's made even worse if you have to try and predict a timeline of multiple years. So timing the market to exit is really not an option. Which means if you are in a rush, because you anticipate something is going wrong with the hobby, you don't have a lot of choices if you don't want to tank the whole market. Right. It's supposed to show that on camera, but this I can show. All right. As you can tell, I'm on a small artist-proof bender here. I think I'll leave this one in the sleeve for now. Iconic card. Awesome art. And check that out. Wow, it's incredibly detailed. Really nice. Look at that. Whew. A couple awesome additions to the collection today, that's for sure. Yeah, so anyway, it's the same problem even with really sought after cards. So as another example, take this lady. Subin Doppelganger's super iconic. A lot of people love this card. A lot of people would love to get a copy of this card. Nonetheless, a bunch sit on the market. So, if I were to go listing, say, one of these a week for the next, there's 7 of them here. I'll keep, say, my graded copies and my master binder copies. Say I listed these. How many weeks do you think I could do that in a row before the prices just start tanking? It's probably not as many as you think, because the demand, it is regular and it's consistent, but this market is just so shallow at any given time. It just won't absorb that much buying or selling without significantly climbing, or dropping, I should say, the order book. So the bottom line, whales can either decimate their own positions by crashing the whole market as they downsize or exit. Whoopsie. Which is not smart if, you're the one holding those cards and you don't want to see them lose all their value. Or they have to choose a pace that the market can actually absorb, which, for cards like mine, I'm talking many years. In such a case, a whale could gracefully exit. Or the third option is to be eaten by a larger whale and probably take a haircut in the process. So yeah, that's what I got. Can a whale exit the market without crashing it? Yes, I think they can. If somebody like Rudy was hit by a truck tomorrow, and his estate fell to wise hands, they could probably handle it without totally destroying things. If they were foolish about it, then yes, I think one whale at that scale could probably crash the market for many, many years. All right, so just before I close out the video, I just wanted to share a couple of other cool pickups I got along these lines just recently. So look at these. These are some revised proofs, but check out the work on the back. Look at how detailed this is. Just beautiful stuff. I don't know, they do not make artwork like they used to. I've got another rant on that I'm debating whether I want to do or not, but it's just not the same. Cool, right? And then check this thing out. Awesome Rush signature. Jesper signed the case. Don't know why, but that's cool. Alrighty. So thanks as always for joining me, and I hope to see you at the next one. Thanks for watching today's video. If you're enjoying my content and you want to help me grow the channel, then please get me in touch with Elon Musk. I would like to be the first YouTuber to talk about magic cards from the surface of Mars. See you next time.